So, here we go. Tonight, we're going to dive deep into GLP-1 receptor agonists. What are they? What do they do inside our bodies? What to eat and drink while taking them, and what to expect along your GLP journey. If you're on one of these medications, you've come to the right place. I'm about ready to give you the inside scoop. So what are GLP1-RAs? First of all, most people shorten the name to GLPs. It stands for glucagon-like peptide receptor agonists. That's a mouthful. That's why most people shorten it to just GLP-1s. That can be kind of confusing because the glucagon-like peptide is the hormone that is actually in your stomach. It is released by your gut when food is put in your stomach, and it goes out and tells the receptors to do their job. We have found GLP-1 receptors all over the body. So what we are actually injecting into our systems when we inject a GLP-1-RA is the receptor agonist that goes out and finds that GLP-1 receptor agonist, or that GLP-1 receptor, and kicks the bed until it wakes up and goes out and does its job. Now, its job can be heart protection. It can be liver protection, kidney protection, dulling your appetite, telling your brain no more food, but we'll get into all of that later. It truly is the hormone that your stomach makes, and its job is to help your body manage blood sugars, whether it's bringing them up or bringing them down. Tell your brain that you're full, and slow digestion. So the GLP-1-RAs mimic the natural hormone, but they're stronger and they're longer lasting. So science made simple. They bind the GLP-1 receptors in your pancreas, brain, and gut. They boost insulin when your blood sugar is high. They reduce glucagon, which can raise your blood sugars. They slow gastric emptying, so your food digests more slowly. They signal the brain that you're full, which helps with appetite control. So what are some of the benefits of this wonderful medication? blood sugar control. Whether it's high, so it's boosting the insulin, or whether it's low, so it's reducing the glucagon. WL, or weight loss. It's FDA approved for obesity management. Cardiovascular protection. Wegovy is FDA approved for cardiovascular protection. Sleep apnea protection. It is the first medication, Zepbound, is FDA approved for sleep apnea. It is the first medication, not device, medication, to be prescribed for sleep apnea. And kidney and liver protection. So now that you are on this medication, do you notice that you get fuller faster? Even if you're hungry, you get fuller faster. You take a bite or two and take a couple drinks, and it's like, that's enough for me for now. Or if your blood sugars have improved, has your A1C improved? That's what they're supposed to be doing. So what are the GLPs doing in your body? In the pancreas, they make insulin more effective when blood sugars are high. They work in the liver to lower excessive sugar release. Is Mounjaro? No, Mounjaro is not approved for cardiovascular protection yet by the FDA. It does show cardiovascular protection, but it's not an approved diagnosis yet through the FDA. Wegovy is the only one that has the FDA approval for that. Even Ozempic, which is the same exact molecule, does not have the FDA approval for that yet. In your stomach, it slows digestion so that you eat smaller portions and they keep you fuller longer. In your brain, the appetite centers respond better. You get less food noise and fewer cravings. So here's an analogy. Think of the GLP1-RAs as the traffic cop for your metabolism. They wave insulin in when it's needed and hold back the sugar release from the liver. They slow down the traffic of food in your gut and send a signal to your brain saying, we're satisfied, we need no more. So an analogy that I always like to use is when you're insulin resistant, what is happening is your organs call for food. They ring a bell to your brain that says, I'm hungry, I need fuel. Your brain talks to your mouth and says, we need to eat. We need to fuel our organs. We need to eat. So you take in food. That food goes into your gut. It processes. It goes to all your organs. Your pancreas sends insulin out in the little truck to pick up that fuel. And insulin's job is to go and drop it off at each of the organs. So he stops at the liver and he says, beep, beep, I've got your fuel. And the liver says, I don't want your fuel, insulin, because he's insulin resistant. So insulin says, okay, and drives to the next organ. He stops at the kidneys. Beep, beep, I've got your fuel. And that organ says, insulin, I don't want your fuel. So insulin doesn't know what to do with the fuel that it's got in the back of its truck. It can't go back to the pancreas with a full load. It has to empty its truck before it can go back. So it lays down its fuel in the fat fields. So in turn, it makes more FAT. And then it goes back to the pancreas. The organs are still calling to the brain, hey, I need fuel. I need fuel. I need fuel. And your brain is still calling to your mouth saying, I'm hungry, dude. Come on. Let's get some fuel in here. So you are still eating uncontrollably, not by your own fault. It is because your organs are insulin resistant. They will not take the fuel that insulin is trying to drop off. So that is why insulin resistant people gain weight easier. It just happens that way. So long-term changes when you're on a GLP. It retrains your appetite patterns. It breaks the constant sugar insulin spike cycle. It helps the body heal from metabolic stress. So I know this is kind of a long talk. Does anyone have any questions so far? Shannon, hi, how are you? All right, I'll keep going then. How about what should I eat or drink when I start on a GLP? So many of our doctors literally give us the medicines and boot us out the door. Some of them will say, eat protein. But what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I was a deer in the headlights. So general principles when you're on these medications are high protein. If you want to get technical, you want to do goal weight times 0.8 in grams per day. It's usually going to come out to 100 to 140 grams of protein a day. That supports your muscle loss and your hair while you are losing weight. Okay. You don't want to go too low in protein. You will start losing hair. You will start muscle wasting. And then, yeah, the weight might fall off quicker. But you are going to be losing muscle along with that FAT. That's not what you want. And with protein and hydration, let me just say this. If you have a nephrologist or a cardiologist, they need to set your protein and hydration goals for you. Message them, call them, whatever you do, they need to set protein and hydration goals for you. But for normal people that do not have a nephrologist or a cardiologist, 100 to 140 grams of protein a day. For hydration, 100 ounces of water a day, but then watch your urine to see how that hydration's doing in your body. You want your urine to be a pale yellow, but not white. If it's white, you're drinking too much, and you don't want it to be dark yellow, because if it's dark yellow, you're drinking too little. If you don't drink enough water, that will contribute to constipation. Water also contributes to fullness, and it keeps your energy up. You want to eat balanced meals. Proteins, vegetables, healthy carbs, healthy fats. Do not exclude one food group. Don't say, I eat no carbs. Don't say, I eat no fruits. You need exactly. Some muscle is normal. We need it to carry our weight. Exactly, Erin. You need to eat balanced meals with all the macros, the fats, the carbs, everything. And then eat smaller portions. You'll learn to train your eyes to smaller portions. Use a smaller plate if you have to. Use a child's plate. Just use a smaller plate. Don't use a big dinner plate. Eat mindfully and stop at a comfortable fullness. That was very hard for me in the beginning. I could eat through the fullness cue. Swedish fish. But you also had veggies and chicken for dinner. Yeah. Like the gummies, Swedish fish. So stopping at a comfortable fullness is hard for some. You have to learn what I'm full feels like. In the beginning, slow down. Slow your eating down. Listen to your brain. And that's the only way that I can explain that is listen to your brain. Take a bite or two, take a drink of water, count to 10. And just explain to your family that you need to not be conversing with them during this time. I know that supper time is usually the time to talk, but just ask them to exclude you from the conversation just in the beginning. And then take 2 more bites, a drink of water, and then count to 10 while you're listening. And then take a couple more bites, a drink of water, and listen. It might take a while for you to figure out what it sounds like when you're full. It did for me. Some foods that work best while on a GLP-1-ra. Lean proteins, chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, and protein shakes. I try to get as much of my food from real food. I get as much of my macros from real food as I can. But if the only way you're going to get your protein in is to drink a protein shake, drink a protein shake. Don't let anybody shame you for what you need to do on your journey. It is your journey. It's going to be different from Joe's or John's or Fred's. Your journey is your journey. It's going to be different than mine. I may tell you something, but what you do is the opposite. I'll let you know. Anything that I say is not set in stone. You could do the complete opposite of something, and that's what works for you. And if that's what works for you, great. For vegetables, try leafy greens or cruciferous greens like broccoli, peppers, cauliflower, that type of thing. Get your fiber from beans, oats, chia seeds. Fiber really helps with bowel regularity. You do need some healthy fats. Some good ones are avocado, olive oil to cook your chicken in, some nuts and seeds. Some hydrating foods would be foods like cucumber, watermelon, soups. Foods that can cause discomfort for some. High fat, fried foods are harder to digest and they sit in your stomach longer. They may cause nausea and they may even cause some gut discomfort. Heavy creams or sauces, again, they may sit in your stomach longer and cause some discomfort. Large portions of sugar, they may cause cramping. Carbonated drinks can cause bloating, and not just in the belly. They can cause bloating, or not just in the stomach. They can cause bloating all the way down. And alcohol. Some people that had a tolerance to alcohol before may not have that tolerance anymore. Drinks to focus on. Of course, water, water, water. I drink probably 4 or 5 of these a day. I put Sicilian lemon juice in my water. Sicilian lemon juice is easier on the teeth. It doesn't eat the enamel away. And it's a little less sour, so it's easier on the palate. Lemon juice is great for digestion. It's great for making you feel full. It's just good for you. The next thing is making sure that you're getting in electrolytes. Low sugar electrolytes. I like Body Armor Light Peach Mango. I do that one because it's a potassium-based electrolyte. I don't like the salt-based electrolytes. They're too salty for me. You can have herbal teas. Belly Welly tea that you can get on Amazon is very good for your tummy. Limit your caffeine if your nausea is bad. So what should you expect when you're on a GLP? In the early weeks, some people have nausea, smaller appetite, fatigue, constipation, or in the early weeks, some people feel nothing. They wonder if they're even injecting anything. And then after that first month to 6 weeks, you should get steady appetite reduction. Little weight changes. 0.5 to 2 pounds a week is healthy, sustainable weight loss. Now do the math on that. 0.5 to 2 pounds a week. That is 2 pounds to 8 pounds a month. Let me repeat that. 2 pounds to 8 pounds a month. Think about that for a year. 24 pounds a year on the low side. I have people come to me and they will say, I've only lost 20 pounds in 2 months. It's going too slow. You've lost what some people lose in a year. That's not slow. They'll say, I've lost 10 pounds in 3 weeks. It's not going fast enough. Well, you could have lost 1.5 pounds. You know, have realistic goals with your weight loss. Remember that weight changes are going to be small for some people. I'm one of those people. My average was 0.6 a week. But I got up to 100 pounds lost. Your sugar cravings should fade over the first few months too. In your later months, your body will adjust. Your focus should shift to nutrition and fueling the body, not just eating, but eating to fuel the body. It should shift to hydration and activity. Hot tamales. I love hot tamales. And then long term, you should focus on sustainable eating habits. Possible improvement in blood pressure, cholesterol, kidney and liver markers. So side effects and coping with some of those side effects. Like I said, some people have nausea and you just want to eat smaller meals. Anything ginger or peppermint can help settle your stomach and avoid greasy foods. For constipation, you want hydration and fiber. And Mago7 is in every GLP user's medicine cabinet. For heartburn, don't eat too close to bedtime. And make sure you're using your papaya enzymes. For hair shedding or telogen effluvium, make sure your protein is in check. And then use a good minoxidil 5% like hers. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. GLPs are a tool, they're not magic. They give us a chance to reset our habits, protect our health, and live longer, healthier lives. So tonight we've covered what GLP1-RAs are, what they do in the body, what foods and drinks to focus on, and what to expect during your journey. Remember, this is your journey. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace. Listen to your body and fuel it with what makes you feel good. Your body will talk to you. Just remember, your journey is your own. Do what you need to do on your journey. Are there any questions? You feel like you're gaining and losing the same couple? Oh no.